are awake right now. At 3 a.m., no messages, no calls, just the quiet that sits between two people who have not stopped thinking of each other. Psychology shows us this is not random. This is not your imagination running in circles. When two people lie awake at the same silent hour reaching toward each other, without a single word, something deeply and undeniably real is already alive beneath the surface. And whatever your mind tells you in the daylight, at 3 a.m., the truth speaks first. There is a reason you cannot sleep right now. There is a reason your mind keeps returning, again and again, like a tide that cannot help itself, to this one person, at the most honest and unguarded hour of the entire day. Because 3 a.m. is not like other hours. The noise of the world has gone completely still. The obligations, the distractions, the careful performances of ordinary life, they fall away. The walls you carry through the day, the ones that keep you composed, functional, and protected, they soften in the dark. And what remains when everything else is gone is what is most true for you. Right now, at this very moment, what is rising up in the silence of this hour is them. Not a memory, not a habit, them. And that is not something to dismiss. That is something your heart is asking you to pay attention to. Here is what psychology shows us about why this happens to you. The human mind runs in two very different modes. During the day, your conscious mind is in charge, filtering your emotions, keeping you grounded in the practical and rational, telling you not to feel too much, not to hope too openly. It keeps you moving. It manages what you allow yourself to want. But at night, especially in those raw, unguarded hours between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., the conscious mind steps back. What takes over is something older, something far closer to your real truth. What psychologists call this the default mode network, the part of your brain that becomes most active when you are no longer directing your own thoughts, when you stop trying to manage what you feel, when there is no task left to perform and no role left to maintain. And what does your mind reach for when left to its own honest truth? The people who carry the most emotional weight in your life. The connections that are still unresolved, the bonds that time and silence have never fully closed. The feelings you set aside in the daylight because there was no room for them there. You are not weak for thinking of them at 3 a.m. You are not broken. You are not holding on to something you are supposed to have already let go. You are human, and your mind is doing exactly what it is designed to do. It is returning to something that still matters, deeply. And the fact that it still matters this much, even now, even in the quiet, even after everything that has happened, that is not something to be ashamed of. That is something to honor. Because here is what no one tells you about this kind of connection. It is almost never one-sided. Psychology and neuroscience both reveal something that most people never fully understand. That genuine emotional bonds between two people do not simply vanish when communication stops. The nervous system of someone who has truly connected with you does not forget you. Emotional attunement, the deep synchronization that forms between two people who have genuinely known each other, leaves a lasting imprint on both of you. A kind of frequency, an invisible thread that runs between two people, regardless of the miles or the silence between them. And in the stillness of the 3 a.m. hour, when there is nothing left to block the signal, no noise, no busyness, no daylight logic telling you what you are allowed to feel, that frequency stirs, that thread pulls, and somewhere in the dark, it finds the other person still present, still connected, still reaching back. Research into emotional memory shows us something profound. The strongest memories are not stored only in the mind. They are stored in the body itself, in the chest that tightens without warning when a certain song plays, in the hands that reach out during sleep for someone who is no longer beside you, in the sleeplessness itself, in the body that still expects a presence, still leans toward a warmth that has gone quiet for now. Your body remembers them in ways your conscious mind cannot always explain or control. Your body holds the full weight of every moment that truly mattered between you, and bodies do not lie. Bodies do not ache at 3 a.m. for something that was never real. Your body only reaches for what genuinely moved it. Now consider this, at this very moment, while you are lying awake thinking of them, they may be awake too. Not thinking about their plans, not thinking about tomorrow or about someone new. Lying in the same kind of darkness, at the same quiet hour, returning to you, to the way things once felt between you, to the words that were never spoken, to the question that still sits open between you, the one that never received a real answer, because the answer lives somewhere deeper than ordinary conversation ever reaches. That is what 3 a.m. does to two people who once shared something genuine. It strips away everything surface level. It removes every excuse and every distraction. And what remains, what has always remained, is the truth of what you meant to each other. That truth does not disappear because things went quiet. It simply moves into the silence. And silence, it turns out, can carry a great deal. What you are feeling right now is not just emotion. It is not just longing replaying itself in the dark. It is information. It is your soul's quiet, persistent way of telling you that what exists between you and this person is not finished, has not faded, has not been replaced by time or silence or the forward motion of ordinary life. It simply lives in the quiet now, in the unguarded spaces, in the hours when your heart finally speaks without anyone's permission. And what your heart is saying at 3 a.m., in the most honest hour of your life, is that this connection is still real, still alive, still reaching. The universe does not create this kind of mutual silent reaching without a reason. Something between you resonated at a depth that most connections never touch. And your soul, the part of you that exists beneath the logic and the fear and the self-protection, your soul has not forgotten. At 3 a.m., with everything else gone quiet, it speaks. Now let this moment also remind you of something important, of who you are when you love someone, of what you carry, of what you offer. You are someone whose connection runs deep enough to feel at 3 a.m. You are someone whose heart does not treat love as something interchangeable or disposable. You are someone who loves in a way that does not simply switch off when things become complicated or uncertain or quiet. That depth, that extraordinary capacity to feel this fully and this honestly, is not a flaw. It is not something you need to apologize for, manage, or shrink from. It is one of the rarest and most remarkable things about you, and it deserves to be recognized for what it is. You deserve to be with someone who meets you in that depth, someone who thinks of you at 3 a.m., not with confusion or regret, but with longing, with warmth, with the quiet and unshakable certainty that you are the one they want. You deserve a love that does not need noise or performance to be real, a love that in the stillness of the darkest hour still chooses you, completely, without hesitation, without looking anywhere else. Your worth is not measured by whether they have reached out. Your value does not diminish because of the silence between you or the questions that have gone unanswered. You were never too much. You were never the problem. Loving this deeply and this honestly was never your mistake. The depth of what you feel right now, in this dark, in this quiet, at this very hour, is not a burden you carry. It is the clearest and most honest reflection of who you truly are. And who you truly are deserves to be loved with the same depth, the same certainty, and the same 3 a.m. devotion that you have always been willing to give. So if you are awake right now, lying in the dark, feeling something you cannot fully name and cannot quiet, let yourself feel it. Let it be real. Let it mean something. Because it does. If this resonated with something real in you, hit that like button and join the Psychology Wisdom family. Subscribe so the next insight finds you before you even knew you were searching for it. You are not alone in what you feel tonight. You never were.